there you are. It's time to get busy. This is the most disturbing videos on the internet today. Let's dive in. The dark truth behind your Apple Watch or Fitbit. I wonder if this counts for smartwatches.
How does your Fitbit or your IBM Square Pin or your Apple Watch get all those biological, physiological signals out of your body to the app for your fitness tracker on your phone, your iPad? And the reason I'm asking is because I'm going to take a guess that you're not wearing when you first get up in the morning and you're brushing your teeth, getting dressed, etc. I'm going to guess that you're not putting on an EEG cap with all these little electrodes. And I'm going to guess you don't spend your day walking around with an oxygen meter on your finger. And I'm going to guess that you don't have the EKG, electrocardiogram, sticky pads that you get at the hospital covering your chest. Every morning you get up, you're putting on your EEG cap, all these stickers for the EKG. You put your oxygen meter on your finger, and you start walking around the house and go to work and drive and take care of your children, right? Are you laughing? It's funny, right? Nobody's doing that. There are way too many people out there that are avoiding how simple the crux of all of these problems really is. If you're not getting up every morning and putting on your oxygen sensor, your EEG cap with all the electrodes, and you're not putting EKG stickers all over your chest, then HOW, are you getting all those biological signals? Did you know that we've had pacemakers in human bodies for a long time? Probably. Even those of us with grandparents in the 80s and the 90s, pacemakers were a thing. Yeah, okay. HOW, here's your cell phone. I'm going to send a text message. HOW. All right, I'm sending a text message. Do you see anything leaving the phone with little wings on it physically? No. Do you see the waves coming off the phone physically with your eyeballs? No. Okay. Can you tell me how that message is encoded and decoded in cybersecurity, routing protocols, networks, commercial and or military? Because I can, and I did for 3 years. I have a resume with proper work experience to explain to people exactly how the text message leaves the phone, through the wireless in your home, out to the drop outside your house, with the internet service provider systems that we have in use right now today. That's my own resume. You see, because of something called R&D, research and development, and the way the United States does business in information technology, now known as information communication technology, and because of that thing I mentioned about all my family members having jobs, this whole experience with the convid has been completely unique to me. Everybody else in the world is going off in 100 different directions, and I'm just still sitting here going, are you going to tell people how long you've been doing this?
I have a smartwatch, Samsung smartwatch. I don't like wearing it, but I can take calls from it when I do use it. And it come in handy sometimes, but I don't wear it all the time. And I notice on the back of it, it always shoots like a green laser into your skin. Like, it definitely making you think now, what really is going on?
There was an event that took place back in the late 40s known as the Babylon Working Ritual. Now, this was a ritual that was carried out by Jack Parsons, JPL. People will even to this day say that JPL stands for Jack Parsons Laboratories, but on paper it's Jet Propulsion Laboratories. JPL is major. It's a historic, so much surrounding this, so much history here. Jack Parsons was not professionally trained, yet he was tapping into high technology and building rockets. How do you do that without any type of formal training? There were no rocket programs in America before Jack Parsons. This is paramount to understand. This guy was tapping into theosophy, Thelema, the religion of Aleister Crowley. He was a disciple of Aleister Crowley, and he was working with L. Ron Hubbard, who was the founder of Scientology. Interestingly, not only did L. Ron Hubbard start Scientology, but he was a science fiction writer. The movie Battlefield Earth with John Travolta, well, that was written by L. Ron Hubbard. Interestingly also, John Travolta is a Scientologist, right? Now, I mention this because this is a man who writes science fiction, yet he started a religion based on science fiction, there has to be something in there where he's getting these clues and these ideas. He's getting these from another realm.
Of supernatural activity that took place after that ritual was performed.
Babylon working was successful according to Jack Parsons. Matter of fact, Parsons said in his Antichrist manifesto that they were successful and that a child was conceived in that act, and that there was a spirit known as Hilarion. The government puts together this group that says we're going to get answers to what exactly
Hilarion. This sounds hilarious.
took place out there in the desert in California by Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard. They go to Jack Parsons, and keep in mind, Jack Parsons is also working with the government. He's now been given, special privileges on things. So they go to him and they say, Jack, all of this stuff that's happening right now, did you do this? Did you do this? And he said, I think so. Now, shortly thereafter, Jack Parsons blows himself up in a lab. Accidental. It was not intentional. Belief was that whoever opened up the portal had to close the portal. Well, Jack Parsons is now dead. Wow. And the federal government is now having to understand and depict exactly to the public what's happening here. And so this group is researching, and out of that group, they finally start to make some headway. They know they're dealing with entities. And so in all of that, they begin to try to make contact with those entities, maybe for some help, maybe because they're trying to figure out how to close this thing, maybe they're trying to figure out how to undo what Jack Parsons did. So they go through satanic rituals to communicate, because that's the only method of communication that they know that works to contact these entities. In doing this, there's a small faction known as the Collins Elite. But once they began to engage in satanic ritual,
Collins Elite, kind of like Twilight, the Collins family. Yeah, I watched Twilight. It was all right. I'm not gonna hate on it. It was all right.
And magic and alchemy, this group says, hey, you know what? This is not what we signed up for. This small group raises up. It's a faction. It's a counterpoint group, which means that they are no longer in agreement with the big group. They have a different opinion. They say, we have a Christian worldview. This goes against our Christian worldview. And so they see that entities are being channeled and communicated with, and now technology is being given through these rituals.
No matter whose view it is, communicating with demons isn't the best idea.
To these other members of the government. So the Collins Elite says, whoa, this is dangerous. You guys are really playing with fire here. We can't support this. We can't do this. And they came up with this idea that the aliens were going to take over, and that in order to protect our country from the aliens, from the entities, they believed that we needed to instate a forced theocracy based on the law of Moses. Okay, this was what's known as a limited access program, or an LAP. A limited access program means that nobody in Congress has to know about this.
The Collins Elite were a counterpoint group within different governmental organizations that were party to satanic ritual being.
I wonder if these rituals he's talking about, did they ever visit CERN and have them working cahoots trying to get this stuff bust open? They keep saying aliens gonna invade. Nah, it's gonna be Project Bluebeam and demons.
I'm calling out to everybody out there in the comment section. I really don't know what to make of this. This right here, that's all this is a picture that we had to go on. So this caption says, "What if I told you what this drawing represents on those shirts, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night." Now, I do get sleep pretty good, but I don't want to be able to sleep that good. So I'm trying to figure out what this symbol right here on this hoodie means. See, they're both wearing this hoodie.
Is it an animal?
We got Jay-Z and Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know what that is. It looks like a face, like a bloody face right there.
The first thing I'm thinking is Wilson from Castaway with Tom Hanks. That's what I'm thinking. But they got all this money. Why would y'all both put this same on? Like y'all part of some type of club or something.
But they're both wearing the same hoodie. That's the big thing. I just want to know. If anybody knows, let us know in the comments.
All right, let's take it to the comments.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Many believe signifies what a face would look like with his off. Oh, no. Wow. Yeah. Same as Wilson in Castaway, is believed many that to get purest form of a you must scare the much as you can to get the most potent form. Damn. I need a vacation, man. This is getting dark. Your boy might need a couple weeks, man. Just to on the beach, my feet up, some hot organic food, fresh food, man. How come this couldn't be the happiest TikToks on the internet today? Oh my God. Look at this. I gotta screenshot this and show it to y'all. Look at what someone posted in the comments. Damn, these people are really evil. Lord, I just pray that all the children are protected by you. You have your hands over them. You cover them in these dark times. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name I pray. Amen. And look, this is them selling it. It has like the Joker ha 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 on the side. This is evil, man.
Melanin is an adapter. It's an adaptogen. It can adapt to anything, anywhere under the sun. Remember those statements? There's nothing new under the sun. Because the sun is your governor. You can't progress in a certain way. It's when you get into dark worlds that you can progress. Right now under the sun, it's all charted out. The ancients used to say things. People say things all the time, but they don't understand why they're saying it. They say there's nothing new under the sun. There isn't. Here is like a classroom. It's one of many under the sun where you learn to do or not to do, to be or not to be. The question is how you're going to be while you're in the physical body, which will determine what you're going to be when you leave the physical body. These are classrooms. These are lessons. Some people learn the hard way, but nevertheless, we will learn. And right now, those who have learned will progress. Those who haven't will soon be dead. Melanin is an adapter. It's an adaptogen.
For my research, everybody has melanin. Everybody has it. It's just how much each person has.
Have you ever wondered what it would look like if a woman painted the architecture of the unseen world? Meet Remedios Varo, a Spanish surrealist who fled war, lived in exile, and turned her canvas into a portal between science, magic, and dreams. Varo wasn't just an artist, she was a seeker, woman who studied mysticism, astrology, alchemy, and poured hidden knowledge into every brushstroke. Look at her paintings, delicate figures in alchemical chambers, gears spinning in cosmic machines, woman weaving the fabric of reality itself. In Creation of the Birds, a bird woman sits at a desk, drawing stars with a violin strung from moonlight. It's not fantasy, it's a secret map. The idea that art itself is a magical act, transforming vibrations into matter. Varro believed that behind the visible world was a precise geometry, a spiritual machinery, humming in silence. Her art tried to reveal it. She mixed scientific diagrams with medieval symbolism, hermetic tools with feminine power to say, reality isn't solid, it's built on invincible laws, and art can decode them. And while male surrealists painted chaos, Varro painted order in the mystery and elegant architecture binding the worlds together. Her paintings whisper one message. The hidden realm is real, and if you look closely, you might find the machinery behind the stars.
Why do I got a feeling they're doing something they shouldn't be doing? Every single photo, art, I'm getting some creepy vibes. Look at this. This is something out of Tim Burton. Coraline vibes. Demonic witches who steal souls in the Bible. Oh yeah? Let's take a closer look.
Soul trapping?
No, that's new to me.
It's wild, and it's been popping up more and more through people's experiences. And there are people who are talking about when they're in the middle of and this might actually relate, I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, because a lot of this has to do with people who are experiencing an abduction situation. While they're in the middle of that abduction situation, either themselves or they see other people being sometimes like hooked up to some kind of technology, and their perception is that their souls are being sucked out of the body while they're in this experience. And I didn't know how to frame it in my mind for a while until I had a friend here in studio and we were talking about Dogman, historical Dogman, which, by the way, it goes back thousands of years.
Some people say his name was Saint Christopher's. It's wild. I did a whole video on Dogman.
It's depicted on maps, and ancient, world travelers talk about these dog-headed people. But I brought this up with him, and he brought up his job. He works for a church where they have so many questions coming in about the Bible. They hired him to just study the Bible.
Right.
And so that's all he does all day long. And he answers people's questions in email. And he just pulled this out of the hat. It was Ezekiel, I think it's Ezekiel 13:18. And it talks about how, I guess there were women being reprimanded for sewing bracelets that they were attaching to their wrists and hunting for human souls. And it just kind of opened that.
Well, let's pull it up. What did he say? Ezekiel what?
He just pulled this out of the hat. It was Ezekiel, I think it's Ezekiel 13:18.
Real quick, as I'm editing this video, it's kind of crazy that the last video before this was depicting some type of crazy looking art. Maybe these two have some type of correlation. Let me know. I personally use the ISR. He said Ezekiel 13:18. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Ezekiel 13:18. Ezekiel 13:18. All right, I found it. And you shall say, this is what the master said. Woe to the women sewing cushions for all joints of the hand, and to those making veils for the heads of people of every size, to hunt beings. You hunt the beings of my people, while you keep alive your own beings. What? And you have profaned me among my people for handfuls of barley and for pieces of bread, to put death beings that should not die, and to keep alive beings who should not live, by your lying to my people who listen to lies. This is 18. Ezekiel 18. 18. Y'all gotta see this. I gotta read this whole book, to be honest with you, man. I just need to go outside and read. Go ahead and pause it if you need to. I like the ISR because it shows the real name, That's why I use it. When it comes to Jesus's name, Yeshua, I'm gonna show you how they write his name. I gotta go into the New Testament. The New Testament's all you really need, man. I done had people switch up to me and go strictly law of Moses, but the New Testament is really all you need. Look, and this is Jesus' name, Yahushua. I'm not gonna fight with you. People who have the name fight with you, man. I ain't gonna get into that. I apologize about my nails. I was trying to get these hornworms off my kale. They've been tearing my kale up. I can't find them. And also it says John, and it does the Hebrew name, Yehukanan. Yukonan's probably one of my favorite prophets. Do you know how out cold you have to be to baptize the Savior? You gotta be out cold. And it said he only ate locusts and honey. So when I was busboying, digging in them chicken strips, I don't feel that bad, If Yukonan could eat locusts and honey his whole life, who am I eating this chicken strip from this busboy bin? Seems like a luxury meal compared to that. Maybe I need to start campfiring some locusts and then put a little honey on top if he ate it. A couple of you guys probably are like, what is he talking about? Matthew 3:4. Why they got him looking like that? Y'all ain't right. It said John wore a garment of camel's hair with a leather belt around his waist. His food was locusts and wild honey. I didn't know that about the camel's hair. I gotta do some more digging on that. All right, let's get back to it.
And it talks about how, I guess there were women being reprimanded for sewing bracelets that they were attaching to their wrists and hunting for human souls. And it just kind of opened that paradigm up. It's like, well, what does that mean? And I still have not had anybody come up to me and say, oh, that's actually, you don't have to worry about that. That's just, let me tell you how to understand
Just don't start accepting bracelets from random people. Well, one of the things I think is interesting, like obviously you're kind of widely read and experienced in conversations in kind of this fringe space, if you will, sort of between the paranormal and the supernatural. What I've found through the years, just being widely read has been helpful. For instance, Randy Kay, and I refer to Randy a lot. He's one of my close, in terms of near-death experiences, I probably know them best out of all the people that I've met, but I've heard him share his story 50 to 100 times, so I'm very familiar. But I've read about people who like travel in the spirit and people who are projecting themselves and doing astral travel, and people will often describe some kind of a cord or a gold thread or something that connects to the belly button of their body when they're above it or traveling in the spirit, if you will. Well, interestingly enough, when Randy's spirit left his body, he felt a tugging at his belly button as his soul left his physical body. So
this is probably about, I have an out-of-body experience. This was about 2 months ago. I fell asleep, so it was really a dream. I don't know if it was an out-of-body experience or a dream, but I'm just above the earth, like out in the ionosphere, looking down, and you can see the earth. And I start drawing these squares, and as I'm drawing this square, like I'm just floating in the ionosphere, like high in the air. If I had to guess, I'm probably 250,000 feet up in the air. And anyway, it's all black around me. And I start drawing this square. And as I'm drawing this square, it's white. It's like a white door. And then as soon as I connect it, it's like a white beam of the square I drew just shoots. It's just all white. And I did that 3 times. Like I drew 3 doors right next to each other. And then I woke up and I was like, man, that dream felt real. Like it was like 2 a.m. I woke up, 3 a.m. I woke up. I'm like, man, what just happened? I want to go back. Like the immediate thing, like as soon as I woke up, I said to myself, I want to go back. I have to go back to that. So I immediately go back to sleep. I'm trying my best to go back to sleep. I go to sleep and it happens again. I start drawing the squares again. So it's like, damn, I never had that where I go back to sleep and I have the same dream again. Me drawing, I'm just floating, y'all. Ionosphere, drawing squares. I didn't feel nothing tug on my belly button or nothing, but I'm just telling y'all this. It was a different feeling. It felt real. We didn't do any specimens yesterday, so I'm going to hit you with 2 today to make up for it. If you thought I didn't have an excellent specimen for you today, think again. All right. We have pink tourmaline. If this was on if they had 4 different names of what this could be, I probably would have guessed tourmaline. You can tell by the hexagonal looking tops of it and how it just shoots up like a skyscraper. We've been doing this for a little bit, so you would think we would start identifying it. This pretty pink color. I love it. This will be a great specimen. I started my own little collection. It's not nothing serious, but I'm gonna have to show you guys one day in my garden. But if I had to name this piece, I would call it Pink Starburst City. Yeah, I like that.
This is an aquamarine, but it exhibits, let's just say, quite an unusual morphology. It exhibits this quite bizarre conical shape to it. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not sure how these form. So I'm going to throw this out to the audience because I know there's some very highly educated and very highly qualified people in the audience. So I would like you to let me know in the comment section if you fancy just giving it a guess, give it a guess. But if you know how these form like this, because it's dispensed with the more traditional or typical hexagonal habit that is more typical of beryls, let us know.
And he's right. You guys are very smart. Somebody's got to know how this forms. I don't. It makes you wonder how many different minerals that are possibly out there, specimens that have not been found. Like, you know how people say they find new species? I wonder if they find like new minerals.
Detail. The Brazilian National Exhibition of 1908, The Brazilian National Exhibition of 1908, Rio de Janeiro. Another mind bender. Another anomaly. Everything you see here, every arch, every dome, every sculpture, was built in less than 3 months. But look at the scale, the detail. These doors weren't made for us little people. They were made for giants or airship terminals. The carvings alone would take years. The statues, generations. They say it was all wood and plaster, temporary. It opened on the 11th of August, stayed open for 3 months, and then demolished. But I've never seen wood and plaster built with chimneys and working fireplaces. And let's be honest, who installs heating in a pop-up tent? And it's not just the fairgrounds. The surrounding neighborhood also looks advanced, clean, organized, like it had been there for a long time. Even if this was just wood and plaster, to build all of it in 1908 without machines in under 90 days? Sorry, I don't buy it. It's the same old lie, found, repurposed, rewritten, then demolished, so we wouldn't ask questions. Does this look temporary to you, or does it look like something from another realm, another world, maybe even another species? Everything's surrounded by mud. Always the mud. And what are the local people left with today? Ugly, gray, concrete prisons that fall apart after 2 years. Architecture that kills the soul instead of lifting it. We're still searching for answers about South Africa's missing exhibitions. If you have any leads, maps, photos, blueprints.
I didn't know that they had a world fair in Brazil. That's incredibly interesting.
Can y'all believe this? Not only is snow man-made, but they had the police dropping it over the city. So before HARP, you had the police.
Looks like liquid nitrogen. Light?
And that ice formed and used up the available liquid water of the cloud drops, and the cloud seeding was thus born.
Supercooled means liquid that is below its freezing point but hasn't yet crystallized. Injecting silver iodide into clouds that contain supercooled liquid water causes droplets to freeze together and form snowflakes, which fall to the ground when they reach a certain size.
Plasma type UFO recorded over Italy 2025. Okay. Yeah, I think we got one. You know, the pixelated quality makes me think it's not AI. And looking at this kind of resembles Saturn, how it has a ring around it. How fascinating. And then it just completely shuts off its lights, and then you just see a black. It goes black, like right there. Like it's almost like powering up, getting ready to take off or something.
I'm sure you've all seen the Stargate series. That Stargate is real. I've seen it. I'm sure you've all seen the Stargate series.
As much as I talk about Stargate, I have not seen one Stargate episode, y'all. I know, I gotta watch it. I gotta start at the very beginning, the first movie, series, TV show. I think it's a TV show, but if it was a movie first, I don't know. Because maybe there's some truth in there. I'm gonna be watching it now like, how did they do it?
That Stargate is real. I've seen it. Lincoln Labs.
Mm-hmm.
They had the original Stargate, you know, that big metal stone ring, was up at Lincoln Labs on the Air Force Base by MIT. When they first turned it on, this guy comes through the Stargate with 2 master CDs. It gets handed to the government. Now, why the government didn't bury it, I don't know. But the government then handed the Roland Emmerich and told him to use it in his movie Stargate. He was privileged to see the Stargate in operation also. And that's why if you watch that movie, first thing you'll notice, the action doesn't quite match the music. That's because they were matching the action to the music that they already had. Mm-hmm. Now, each piece of that music, each track, 1 through 24, represents the 24th gene pair genome, and that last 24th gene, that's altruism. Then from 25 to 30, that's like a fixative pattern of frequencies for different races of man. Number 30 happens to be ours, and I think number 27 is yours. You know, it's for the black race. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to go into any sort of segregation. I don't believe in that. You all have beautiful, lovable minds. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter where you have your sex organs. Everyone has a beautiful mind.
How was it that you got into the side of the frequency of the music and how that was opening up doorways, portals?
Well, basically, at this point, I already had the connection to this character, Preston of the Future.
And this guy, Preston of the Future, would just literally walk into your 3D life here,
yep.
like me, and you would recognize this person as Preston of the Future?
That's why I got his fingerprints, and I got some of the, you know, he bled. He got a cut, and I blotted it, and I sent that out, and it matched me perfectly. The fingerprints on the glass and the blood on the napkin matched me 100%.
And what future is he from? What year do you know?
I don't know. I don't think it's that far into the future. I think it's like maybe another 30 years after whatever this big calamity that's coming is. I think he's from that time.
Is he older than you now?
No, he looks exactly the same. Exactly the same. That tells me that, yes, time travel becomes usable, and I probably do eventually succeed on age regression. Or it's a clone body. I don't know which, but basically, after playing the steel phonograph record with DARPA and kibitzing with the general that, hey, what kind of a joke is this?
Sorry, where did you get the steel phonographic record from?
That supposedly came to me through DARPA from the Chaco Canyon caves. That was in the cave sitting on a pedestal with a little indentation in the rock with what looked like a phonograph cartridge. And the record had 20 pi on it. That's all it had on it. And I figured, okay, pi represents an RPM, rotation. So it's probably 20 times pi rotations, which comes out to 66 2/3 RPM. So I took a 78 turntable and slowed it down to 66, and Stargate music. Why the hell am I playing this?
Stargate, the movie, the TV serial.
No, the movie.
Yes,
the movie. Local record shop, buy a copy of the Stargate CD. I use that to adjust the speed on the turntable and match it perfectly, and it matches perfectly. So I get very interested in this music.
Wow, Stargate. He found Stargate music that came from DARPA inside a Grand Canyon. How crazy is that? All right, we need to call it. That's all we have for today's video. If you made it this far, drop Thursday vibes. Thursday vibes is a cold word. Your boy's doing his best to bang these out, man. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. More than you know. Be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I know we get excited sometimes and we forget to hit it. And it really helps your boy out. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you're caught up on all the episodes. If you guys don't know, I have a second channel, Jesky Chuck, where I post longer videos and I do more in depth, researching. And I do go live on that channel as well, so don't miss out on any of that action. This was the most disturbing videos on the internet today. See you later.